And hello, everybody. Good morning. Today's one of those crazy ones, isn't it? Well, I am just making breakfast, preparing my body for the apocalypse. As crazy as that sounds. What are you talking about, dude? Well, you know, the world's going crazy, right? Everybody knows. The big question is, what can we do on an individual level? Because we're not going to know the day or the hour or the exact timing of it all. But we are clearly in some wacky times. Pretty wacky. And let's talk about some of the things, you know, today I'm going to let for a few people jump in. It takes a little time for them to jump in, but you know, I'm going to tell you guys a funny little secret. Just a funny one. Actually, I wish it was funnier. Guys, since I started my channel, right? Oh, good morning, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me, by the way. I think this thing's on. This thing on. Here's a funny story. Since I opened my channel, I don't think a lot of people understood why I named it what I named it. The uprising of the 144,000. You know, ancient number and ancient scripture about the end of days. And now we're going through what we're going through because there's been a preparation. And, oh, loud and clear, good. Grand rising. It's uprising. Uprising. And by the way, everybody, you're welcome to obviously comment today and join the conversation. Everybody can give their opinions. You know, today I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not making medical claims. Everything today is just my opinion. In fact, everything today is just for entertainment purposes, right? This is all for entertainment, guys. Isn't the whole thing, though? Isn't this whole thing we're going through just for the entertainment of God knows who or God knows what? But yeah, here's what I would say as far as what should we be doing? One, well, I will say I would probably have some water stored up. It'd be really nice to have. This is where you need emergency water filters. There's a filter that I have that I don't use because it's not the best, right? The best is the carbon distillation, cleanest water on the planet. Why? Because I want my health. I want my mind working right. I don't want a bunch of garbage in my water, which I have the lab reports to prove what's in it. And it's absolutely bonkers. I can't even believe that half the stuff's in there. So you want your clear mind and you want your body in a good and right place. But you also want your body as strong as it can be. The nutrients, overcoming nutritional deficiencies. You know, we're running out of time too, because one of the things you can actually train your body to be efficient without food. So that if the time ever happens where you have to either live off of very small amounts of food, you can do that just to get through it. One of the other things that I highly recommend, and I certainly have mine put away, is some raw honey, because honey won't go bad. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. You can live off of it if you have to, but you know, honey is one of the biggest secrets, to be quite honest, as far as, you know, lasting forever and being just amazing stuff. So that's a nice little emergency thing. Obviously, having any emergency food might be a good idea, but here's the big one. I'm going to tell you the big secret and why I called it the 144, the 144K. Oh, thanks for the couple thumbs up, guys. It's okay. Let's see. Somebody says, yes, audio is working. And then Linda says, it's a movie, right? What's a movie? I'm not sure if I caught that one. But anyway, yeah, life is a movie, maybe. We need to protect ourselves from radiation. This is literally one of the main reasons that I called my channel what I called it. Because there's something very special that I realized about hydrogen a long time ago. Is for some strange reason, just the weirdest, strangest maybe just a coinkydink, right? Just a coincidence. The hydrogen just appears to be really great at protecting you from radiation. Now, I noticed it because of looking at medical data. And watch my video number 8. I show cells in Japan being exposed to radiation with and without hydrogen. You should see the difference. It's pretty dramatic. And I've seen it be used in Japan. I've known, I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but like I knew somebody who was terminal with cancer, and we did a protocol with the hydrogen, and basically she wanted to do partial conventional treatment, which was, she was terminal, and I'm like, and she didn't want to do, she really didn't want to go super crazy on the protocol, and she didn't have everything she needed either. Because in Japan, all the items that I needed, I found in America. In some countries, believe it or not, it's really hard. Like Japan's kind of tough sometimes to get certain, just certain ingredients, certain things that you need. America, man, you can get so much stuff in America. So I obviously sourced it. But the point is, she ended up doing the hydrogen with the conventional radiation, and the results were amazing. She ended up, her cancer went away so fast. Even the doctors were kind of surprised. They were like, geez, just went away so fast. And she's still alive to this day, and she uses hydrogen regularly. And she was supposed to be gone in she had like 3 months or maybe even less. And it's been like 7 years or something. It's been quite a while. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is, yeah, hydrogen appears to be great for protecting you against radiation. And that's one of the reasons that I named my channel what I named it, because if you guys remember correctly, the 144,000 are the last survivors, the people who could survive this craziness that's happening. And I've always thought, well, what would you need to survive something? I mean, I guess you need a lot of luck too, but your body needs to be able to withstand whatever it is that we're going to potentially be going through. I mean, we got food shortages, which, hate to say it, if that happens, it's going to be very sad. But hey, right now, I've been loading my body up on, all the nutrients I possibly can, all the minerals I possibly can. My body's loaded up on hydrogen, right? So that if anything hits your body, because there's a lot of things that deplete your body. And by the way, if you guys want to see what I'm making, let me know and I can move the camera. I don't know if it matters to you guys. I've made so many videos with this, with making these special smoothies to load up on a lot of nutrients. And here's the other one. You want to load your body up with a lot of antioxidants. Those are the ones that help the body fight, a lot of the garbage that is being perpetuated on us. In fact, I don't know if you guys looked at the sky lately. My goodness, we are being sprayed in a major way. I know. And I can't believe I'm sounding like this, because it makes me sound like I'm cuckoo, and it's never really been my thing, but I hate to say it, I'm an evidence guy, and it's clear that I can't even believe half the stuff that I find and everything. I just can't believe some of it's even real. It's like, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe my phone's listening to me. I can't believe that they're spraying the sky. I'm like, what in the world are you trying to do? Geoengineering. So let's see here. Everything's working. Okay. So yeah, I would have some food put away. I would definitely load the body up on with nutrients, and I would definitely lots of antioxidants, lots of hydrogen, guys. If anything happens, you're going to want to start loading that up. It takes about at least 2 weeks to really start loading up your body with hydrogen. Like, as you're using it, it starts loading up in your body. And that's going to be, in my opinion, I think we're being hit already in so many ways. And it's funny for me, and maybe even kind of sad in some ways, because the more that I clear my body, I've noticed a huge, profound effect on the mind. And I realize all the stuff that is going into us, and we have proof of it. I mean, the stuff that is being put in food and water and even the air, and that's another reason that I named my channel what I named it. Back to that again, because hydrogen has also been shown to be extremely protective of the body and the cells, and I just kind of knew, it was instinctual. I'm like, we're gonna need this. This is gonna be needed in the future. Now, on the way there, getting good health, feeling better. I mean, that's all. This has always been very spiritual. It's always has been. I just have always been, and who knows if I'll leave this video up, by the way, but this has always been a journey. I mean, you guys have to understand that the body, the health, the blood, how it works, how health works, how that affects. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't be poisoning you as much as they are. I find it very suspicious that I'll walk into a grocery store, and I'm not kidding you, most of the stuff is completely unedible in my book. You can't eat any of it. I mean, you could, but it's not good for you. Most of the stuff, like, it's so funny. This is actually really hilarious. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and they were giving out samples, and they had Pepsi cans, and they were giving out samples. And I'm walking by, and I look, and I'm like, I don't want to ever be rude, so I don't say anything. And I was just walking by, but I looked, because I was thinking, wow, they're giving Pepsi samples? And the guy looks at me, he's like, hey, no, this is really great. Come and try this Pepsi. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good. And he goes, no, you don't understand. This is a new kind. And I was like, that's okay. Because they always have their new kind, this new Pepsi. He goes, no, this one's really healthy for you. And I was like, what? He goes, this is probiotic Pepsi. I was like, what? I almost started laughing so hard. And I was like, I got to get out of here before I offend this guy. Because he was like, really wanted me to try it. And I'm like, I didn't want to tell him, dude, I know about health. Okay. Like, there's no way that Pepsi is putting out anything that's any good, in my opinion, right? So I was just trying to get away, but he was like, no, really, you should try it. It gave me a good laugh, though. Prebiotic soda pop. Look at that, guys. Pepsi wants you to be healthy. They want to change their ways. I wonder if it still had. I didn't even. I almost thought about going and checking all the ingredients, but I was kind of in a little bit of a hurry, I guess. Oh, that was a good one. I don't know about you guys. That one gave me a good laugh. Okay, let's see where we're at here. And anybody, again, you can comment. We can ask questions. Deborah says, yes, it's crazy with the trails. And now all I'm reading about the problems with ticks now. I know ticks are kind of crazy. And that it's possibly deliberate. Right. I would not be surprised. I know, that's what I mean. It's the whole world is just, feels like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. Nicole says, I heard on Health Primitive channel that painting the hands and soles of your feet with iodine helps. Yeah, I think that's not the worst thing in the world. One thing that I do, I should have probably told you guys about this part of the protocol. I eat this every day. Seaweed, because it's rich in iodine and it's coming from a very good food source. And it's also rich in minerals, so I have that on with dinner pretty much every day. Linda says, how much hydrogen per day would you recommend? I drink 2 copper mugs of hydrogenated water every morning and breathe in at night 30-90 minutes. Well, the difficulty for me is, obviously I don't want to give you medical advice, and I don't know, the state of your kidneys, if you're on any pharmaceuticals, like, you see what I mean? It's a little tricky for me to go and tell you those type of information. What I would suggest is watching my video 337. I kind of go over some stuff in that video. I would also watch video 388, and I would also watch 426. 426 is a video that I'm actually very proud of. And I say proud of, I kind of really wish that video existed when I was doing all my hydrogen research. Because I didn't realize that, look, hydrogen is something, in my opinion, that should be used regularly, just like clean water. It's not just a one-time thing or a 2-time or a week. It's for life, okay? You should have clean water for life. And hydrogen is no different. The problem is, when it comes to hydrogen, you have to really learn how to take care, and this goes for any piece of equipment. And I've noticed that there's so many problems with, honestly, basically every single machine. And the problem is, it's not that it's a problem. Some of them are really terrible at making hydrogen. Some of them, the hydrogen's not super pure. You know, all these issues, reliability issues, all this stuff. But with the Hydrofix, you have to stay on top of the cleanings and the maintenance in order to keep the machine working perfectly and making the perfect amount of hydrogen so that you can use it regularly. If you don't take care of them right, machines start growing mold. If you don't take care of them right, the hydrogen production starts going down, all this type of stuff. And that's the reason that I made that video 426, because maintaining the machine is, I mean, it's not that it's difficult, but you just need to know what to do. And there's a lot of little tricks and things that I learned throughout the years, and I put them all in that video. And like I said, it was stuff that took me, you know, a long time really to figure out. You know, this whole process has been a long journey, and that's why I share with you guys to try to help save you guys time and even to save you money, so that you don't go and buy the wrong thing and then be like, oh man, you know, I bought the wrong thing. Now I gotta, you know, now I gotta go and buy the right one, because that's happened so many times. I've talked to so many people who bought the wrong machine, wasted all that money, they never got the results, and then, you know, had to start all over again, and they really didn't like doing that. And I totally get it. I've been through that myself quite a few times. I bought the wrong one, you know. Okay, let's see where we're all at here. Survival mode. Oh, thanks for all the thumbs up. We got 10. Okay, someone says, Deborah says, FYI, there are tick socks netting out there to protect yourselves. I know these ticks are just crazy. Lorenzo says, prebiotic Pepsi. I know. That's like Snickers bars and Gatorade for healthy energy. I know, it was so hilarious. Jay says, hi all. I know. And what's funny is when they're talking about it, I was even thinking, like, I haven't heard about this at all. I've seen no commercials. Maybe it's really new. But that is hilarious, right? Prebiotic Pepsi. Hey, when you got to be healthy, when you want to get healthy, have a Pepsi. I'm not endorsed by Pepsi. I would never drink it. I didn't even bother looking at the ingredients. I kind of should have maybe, but I'm sure I would have just, I hate to say it, I would have picked it apart. I would have looked at it, and I'm sure I would have seen all the things that shouldn't be in there. Because that's what always happens when I look at ingredients. I can grab ingredients from, if you notice what I'm putting in this thing, everything is simple ingredients. You know, celery is celery. The dates are the dates. The ginger is the ginger. Banana, clearly a banana. Walnuts, greens, blueberries. I mean, there's, you know, I grabbed these blueberries the other day. And I'm really glad. I almost didn't even look at the ingredients. I'm like, it's just a bag of blueberries. And as I'm walking around the store with them, I thought to myself, boy, that seemed really good. Maybe I'll go buy more. And I thought, wait a second. Maybe you should check the ingredients, dude. Because I almost always check, unless it's something obvious, like a banana, right? I don't need to check anything. And I looked at the ingredients, and sure enough, they'd put sugar in it, and they had oil in it. And I was like, what? I was so shocked. I was like, what is this stuff doing in these blueberries? They were just dried blueberries. You know, I was just buying them as a kind of a potential healthy snack, you know. Probably wouldn't eat a ton of them anyway. I don't eat a ton of dried food. But, you know, good emergency food maybe. But I was shocked. It had oil and sugar, and I was like, I was so glad I noticed. Because I would have not eaten it, so I put them back. You know. So anyway, guys, yeah, things are pretty wacky. Personally, I know nobody's going to know the day or the hour and all this craziness that's going to happen in the world that's already happening. I think, like I said, the best thing to do is to be prepared. I told you guys about a date in regards to it being middle of May. Personally, I hope I'm wrong on that, because it's not even mine. It's another guy. And I'm always cautious when it comes to dates, but it's a pretty reliable source. But either way, it doesn't seem to me that it would be a bad thing to treat your body the best way possible. Get as load up on the nutrients, guys. And but the hydrogen is hydrogen, and yeah, iodine. But honestly, I think as good as iodine is, there's just something special about the way hydrogen will protect you in a different way from multiple things. So That's why I've been big on it. One of the many reasons that I've been big on it for a very long time. And yeah, so that's what's going on right now. And I'll tell you, there's all these different people with so many differences of opinion, and that's, you know, fine, but clearly somebody must be right, somebody must be wrong. And but I'm kind of the opinion that I think this maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe this has to happen. You know, what was it? There's an interesting Bible verse. I'm trying to remember it. It was what was it? I think Jesus was telling like the apostles something about like all this crazy stuff that's going to happen in the future, and they were all panicking. And then he said something along the lines of like, "Don't worry, guys. Like, you don't have to worry about this." And he's telling them all this craziness, and they're freaking out. And then he's telling them not to worry, and he's like, "For these things must come to pass before the marking of my return." So it's like, oh, okay. So this has to happen, right? So if it has to happen, then I guess there's no point in panicking about it. But, you know, be watchful, as it says. And I know it doesn't say much about it, but I, for one, will. And it's just been, you know, it wasn't like a path that I specifically chose on purpose. It's a path that was just put right in front of me. And that's to learn about not only health, but learn how to get the body to withstand some pretty nasty things. And what I mean by that is, and how to navigate this world as far as, like, for example, the things in the water. I've shown you guys how to clean the water, how to use a regular flush out all this garbage that is trying to clog up your brain. You know, learning how to avoid the crazy foods and all this, you know, so-called brainwashing, you know, that I didn't even think, I mean, I had a hard time believing that maybe we were being brainwashed. You know, this was many years ago, but then I see leaked, you know, 3-letter agency documents talking about it. And I'm like, what? I just couldn't believe it. I've really been, I think I've been too, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of naive, because kind of like the Japanese, you know, Japanese have told me some funny stories, like, they're like, you know, the Japanese never think about looking for organic food or even thinking that any food is bad for you, because they're under the impression that why would anybody put anything in food that's bad for you? They're kind of naive that way. And in America, it's like different. We're literally riddled with landmines. Just so you know, I'm working with this doctor who also is a scientist, and he checks. The reason I'm working with him is because he was really impressed by some blood work from, you know, my protocol and whatnot, and that's how we met. And he's noticing that he does testing for people all around the world, and he notices that the people who live in America, like, he's able to check how fast you're aging and the health of your cells and all this stuff. This is why, again, back, you know, that's why he was impressed with my protocol, because he was seeing that and he was like, this is crazy. You're like one of the top people in the world. And when he saw that, and he was telling me that different countries, it looks different. And the worst of them all, America. He said when people test in America, they literally test worse than anybody. And they seem to be really keen on poisoning Americans. You know, and I say that because you look at certain ingredients in certain foods that they don't put in other places like Canada or even Mexico. It's like, but why America? You know, or Europe. There's a lot of ingredients that are illegal. And yet America is just like, yeah, you know, it's fine in America. It's fine for Americans. We don't care about those guys. All right, let's see here. Somebody said prebiotic Pepsi. Okay, Deborah says, God bless you for all your info. I will be emailing you about weight loss protocol. Oh, weight loss is easy. Okay, Jair says, did you already mention what iodine sources you like? Yes, I said, I always like to get stuff naturally from food mostly, and I eat seaweed every day. Seaweed is filled with iodine from a food, and it's also filled with minerals, which, by the way, you need your minerals, you need your vitamins, you need your hydrogen. All these things protect you from all sorts of crazy stuff, including potentially radiation. I don't know if you guys know that. So that's why I'm so big on overcoming nutritional deficiencies. And what a shocker, it happens to make you healthy too. You know, which is, all this is dual purpose, guys. And Deborah says, usually when I talk to people about hydrogen, I tell them to look you up. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for the kind thought. You know, like I said, we'll see how many people make it through this. Okay, let's add some hydrogen to this smoothie. You know, this is just going above and beyond. You don't have to do the hydrogen smoothie. But I'll tell you guys a secret. Unless I'll see if you guys are interested. If you're not interested, I'm not even going to bother telling you. Do you know how I know that the hydrogen in the smoothie is actually not only good, it is actually doing something? Have I ever, guys, told you this? I mean, I did see some research too, but but there's more to it than that. There's something that I did that I realized, yeah, it's real. I don't even need research to know that this is actually a good idea. But you don't have to do it. It's not like, you know, I'm already drinking the hydrogen water, and I'm about to, after I'm done doing all this, I'm going to sit down and have some inhalation. But notice that I'm going to be loading up. You're about to see all the different nutrients that I'm going to consume. And I'm doing this, again, for my health, of course, but also because it helps my body be more resilient and to survive something. Even when you don't eat, if you're already deficient and you're not eating, and by the way, not to mention, this is kind of a big secret too. This is one of those things that, this is why I'm not sure, and you guys can comment how much I can say about this, but because it's not been on the news, and I find it very suspicious because I have inside info and I know it to be true. And that's the amount of people that are getting sick. Comment if you know about this one, because almost everybody I know has been, you know, has either gotten sick recently or is sick. And usually when people get on flights, I just picked up recently 2 people from the airport. They both got sick. Then I got another, somebody who I know who contacted me and said, hey, can you pick me up at the airport? He got sick. Somebody who I know just went on vacation. They got sick on their way to Europe. And then they finally overcame their cold. And then they flew back and got sick again. It's like everybody's getting sick. Have you guys noticed this at all? And by the way, hospitals right now, again, some of the inside info, they're rampant with patients. It's crazy, and like nobody's really like talking about it. Let's see, and then please tell us. Okay, I'll tell you guys in 1 second. Let me finish the comments. Jair says, do you like miso? I do. It helped people survive the atomic bombs in World War II. Yes, I do like miso. I eat it quite regularly. Christy says, hi Greg. When I add hydrogen to my smoothie makes me tired. Okay. How you know why that might happen? I don't think the hydrogen's making you tired. That's unless it's detoxing you, which could happen, but only for, I mean, it's not gonna do it forever. You know, usually it's at the beginning when you have so many free radicals to deal with. And then somebody, Nietzsche says, how did you find out the secret? Find out the secret on hydrogen. I don't know which secret you're talking about, but I will tell you why this hydrogen water is making a difference. And it sounds like somebody's kind of interested. So by accident, literally by accident, guys, I was putting water in here one day and I was looking for a container and I used this container. And this container had carbonated water in it, CO2. Okay, remember, oxygen is oxidizing. Didn't even notice, okay? I put carbonated water in this thing. Blend it all up. Now remember what happens when you shake carbonated water, right? All the gas is gonna leave. So here I'm putting carbonated water in this thing, not knowing it. I blend it all up, by the way, putting my minerals in there. Blend it all up, and when I drink it, it tastes spoiled. And I was like, why in the world does it taste weird? And why does it taste spoiled? It tasted oxidized. In fact, it tasted like when I make a smoothie and leave it out for well, I don't leave it out. I mean, I'll put it in the fridge. But the next day, the smoothie's still relatively good. But then if I wait another day, it's starting to go bad. I can taste it when I drink it. And it tasted like that. And I'm like, why would it taste like that? I literally just made this thing. It's fresh. And I couldn't understand until I realized And because I tasted some of the bubbles and I realized, wait a second, I put carbonated water in there. The CO2, the oxygen, was oxidizing everything at an accelerated rate. So much so that it clearly affected the taste. This is why there's a blender that I really like. It's called the Void blender. If you guys want to check it out, it's a vacuum blender. The website is called void-system.com. And if you want to get one, I don't know if the discount code works anymore, but you can try the code Uprising144K and it gives you a discount if you want one. But the point is it sucks out all the oxygen. It vacuums everything out. And the smoothie tastes so different. The color looks different. They're really awesome. And I have one and I really like it. The problem is that the pitchers are not big enough. And this is the biggest pitcher I can find because I'm making this and I'm actually sharing it at this time with, different people. And so I need to make more of it. Plus I need a lot for me too. And so anyway, that's the reason that I'm using this guy. But anywho, that's how I know that the hydrogen is not, I know that it's not an oxidant like the CO2, it's an antioxidant. So that's why I put it in there. And if it's going to do anything, and I've seen it on some lab tests, enhance the antioxidant properties of the food, and it soaks in there and just a little more antioxidants. That's it. I mean, nothing like bonkers crazy. But if I have hydrogen water here, why not? Might as well just put it in there. I mean, I'm going to put water in there anyway, right? Might as well. But do you have to? No. Do I make it without it sometimes? Yeah. Because I don't need it all the time. I'm already drinking and inhaling so much. I'm clearly loaded up on hydrogen. And that's why every time they do these lab tests on me or the gas test that they tested me and all this stuff, I'm always testing off the chart. Like I can't think of one time that I didn't actually. I was kind of thinking like, did I ever not test good? Nope, always tested good. Usually even to the confusion of some of the people, like even in the lab, there's this one lab that I remember they were really confused when they were seeing my blood. The technicians wanted to know whose blood is this? Because I was going in regularly getting tested for specifically nutritional deficiencies, but apparently my blood looked different than everybody else's. And that's when they were like, the technicians were wondering who I was. And then when they saw the results of the blood work, then they were even more curious because the results came back just like kind of ridiculously good. And then they were like, wait a second, that's the one where the doctor called me. And she's like, I've been doing this for 30 years or more. I've never seen blood like yours. But here, let's first blend this up. And by the way, it's not that there's anything special about it. Anybody can do it. I've been trying to show you guys how to do it for years. Okay, let's blend this up real quick. And then I'll answer more of your questions. Okay, 10 more seconds, and then I'll read the next comment. Okay, almost done, and then you guys have a few comments and questions, so give me 1 second. Another little trick you can do sometimes if you really want to, you can cut the smoothies with a little bit of hydrogen. You know, I'm really big on nutrient absorption and regulating those parasites too. Okay, let's see what comments where we're at here. Somebody says, Jayer says, just heard hospitals in Midwest are filled with a viral pneumonia. Yep, that's exactly what's been going on. My friend was hospitalized with intended. Yep, that's what almost got me. I remember I told you guys recently I got pneumonia, and I basically beat it without doing antibiotics. But I'm not recommending that at all to the average person. I just felt like my body could handle it and get through it, and I did, but it wasn't easy. It was nasty. You know, whatever this thing's going on out there is nasty, and I felt it in my lungs, and I remember thinking to myself, like, if I was a little older, or if I wasn't in, you know, the best of health or whatever, this thing could potentially end me. It was strong. I reached the point where I literally couldn't even talk, you know, and so I'm telling you guys, prepare for the unexpected in one way or another. The best way to prepare, in my opinion, is by taking care of your body, and then just having extra, you know, And look, when there's emergencies and you eat emergency food, yeah, it may not be the healthiest, but for right now, while you can, eat as healthy as you can. You know, that's my opinion. You know, I'm not going to make excuses. You know, I'm going to eat as good as I can while I can. And if I ever need to eat things that aren't so good for me, well, then that's what I got to do to survive, right? That's what we do. You know, but I rather be. It's like being in shape for whatever, and then when a time comes where you can't, you know, exercise or whatever. Now I'm about to show you one of the other secret ingredients, because this is very protective too, by the way, extremely protective. In fact, I'll pull up some data to prove it to you guys if you want, if you don't believe it. One of these is a very unique vitamin D3 with K2 in its ionic form. It's the best there is, in my opinion. And actually, there's data that has come out now showing that. So these guys are way ahead of the curve because they did it before any scientific evidence was available. This next one is just boron. Boron's really good again in its ionic form. Super good for regulating hormones, testosterone, bringing those levels up, estrogen. You know, the male-female hormone is just good for regulating it. It's a mineral, so it's not like you're going to dysregulate yourself by giving yourself what the body needs. Okay, now let's give you the next magic ingredient. How much time do I have? Just a little bit of time left. Okay, now I want to show you one of my other magic ingredients. I'll show you right now how I turn it on. Well, this is how easy it is. Tap it once, tap it twice. There's your 90 minutes. That's it. That's how easy it was. It wasn't complicated, was it? And I'm going to sit down. And I apologize beforehand. I do have another couple secret ingredients for you guys, and then we'll answer some questions. I'm going to apologize for this one. I'm going to blow my nose. I always like to blow my nose before I start inhaling the hydrogen. Just to get my nose all cleaned up. Excuse me for that. Okay, guys. Let's read your last comments, and I guess we're going to find out who survives this whole thing, huh? When I get on YouTube in a couple months or maybe a year, we'll see where we're all at. Who's made it, who hasn't. Okay, next ingredient. One of my other favorite ones. Some of the most well-balanced omegas, 3s and 6s. Lots of protein. And if you guys want me to pull up the how protective vitamin D is, whatever you may encounter. But yeah, people are getting, that's exactly, it was that comment that you made, in my opinion, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody seems to be getting pneumonia. Okay. Kimberly says, you are right. Everyone I know is getting sick. Yep. Was just sick. I am not feeling great myself. Something isn't right. I agree. To me, this is worse than when it was when they were doing all the lockdowns and everything. By the way, thanks for all the thumbs up. I'm telling you guys, get your bodies ready. I never really went into that mode. I was just trying to show you guys how to be healthy, but we're shifting into something else. Okay. Come on, good. Nito says, how long would you say you would stay loaded up on hydrogen if you are not able to consume it? Well, hydrogen can have a very prolonged, long effect on the body. But I would say, I mean, it could be doing stuff for you strongly for like a month. If you're all loaded up on it, like I could go a month probably without even eating or nothing. Yeah, I'm going to lose a ton of weight and stuff, but I think all the nutrients, you know, things would get depleted, but it's worse when you don't have them. Forgot a napkin. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I tell you, things are about to get kind of bonkers. We're living in a weird place, guys. Well, we'll see, huh? Okay. Let's see. Jair says, if you use spring water in the Lourdes. Apologize. Jair, okay. Jair says, if you use spring water in the Lourdes Hydrofix for drinking, molecular hydro, do the minerals survive? or are they negated by the hydrogen gas? They survive just fine. They're not negated. Here's the problem. A lot of the minerals that are in your water are inorganic minerals. There is a difference between organic and inorganic minerals. This is why I get the majority of my minerals from my food, okay? Because the plants, nature does some magical stuff in regards to the minerals. Photosynthesis, you know. But I'll show you guys. When I consume minerals, additional ones like these are extracted from the ocean. So a good source, in my opinion, but they purify them. So they purify all the contaminants, which is great. And then they take out almost all the salt, which is actually really good. They remove like 99% of the salt or whatever. This is good stuff too. Pretty cheap. And then, what was the question? Oh, the minerals. Yeah, so personally, I don't know where you're getting your spring water, but most spring water is contaminated when you test it. The one you buy from the store or in those big jugs is like, it's one of the largest sources of microplastics you consume. It's coming from your water. That's why I clean my own. There's no source that I trust. And water has the magic to be able to self-purify if you put it through, carbon distillation. So I clean my own. Remember, when they're spraying the skies, it's getting in everything and in everywhere. But you can purify your water pretty easy. It's not even that expensive. If you guys want to look at the equipment I use, mypurewater.com is the website. A discount code uprising144K. And then these are the concentrated minerals. You can watch my video, I think it's like 86 or 88. I could go back and look, where there's a link to those minerals and I talk about them. I'll pull it up real quick and then I'll pull up the data if you want about the vitamin D3 or whatever. Okay, let's see here. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to YouTube and I just type in how to mineralize distilled water. And then my video is, it's number 1, video 87. Okay. It's funny. Somebody is showing how to make distilled water at home, DIY, but it's going to be such a pain. It'll take you forever to make enough to drink. But anyway, so yeah, video 87, the link is in the comment section. That's right. Okay. So yeah, you want your water clean. Okay, next. Pryro says, hey Greg, how much hydrogen water do you suggest drinking throughout the day? Well, again, it's hard for me to make suggestions because each individual person, whether pharmaceuticals they may be on, kidney issues that they might have, it's just a little tough, but I would suggest watch video 337, 388, and 426. And that's what I would suggest. Okay. And then if you want an emergency water filter, I would get one of those type of Alexa Pures or maybe one of those Berkeys. Those are like my emergency stuff. They're not the best there is, but if I have to, I'm keeping my gas tank full, and if I have to drive somewhere and I need access to water, and the best I can do is run it through that. It's the best I can do. Boil it or run it through it or both. Okay. But I can tell you how much I drink. I drink specifically the cleanest hydrogen, the cleanest water, the best. And I'm drinking about 2.5 liters a day, maybe max 3 liters. A lot of inhalation too. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I bought this new machine. It was so impressive when we were looking at the numbers as far as what it was doing to the blood and looking at how it was affecting the endocrine system and even blood glucose levels, a whole bit. So impressed. I knew it was good, and I've seen so much of the data, but guys, it was beyond my expectations, which is kind of wild because I've already loved hydrogen. And that's why I had to buy the new machine, because we were seeing the results from the newest model, and I was like, you know what? Life is short, and health is too important, I'm just going to buy another one. I bought the newest model, and that's what I'm been inhaling quite regularly now. Okay. Pyro says, and isn't hydrogen water somehow destroyed when blended into a smoothie? It's not destroyed. You have to understand, hydrogen is just a gas. It's dissolved into the water. So when it went in my smoothie, and I've seen this already do it, it goes into the fibers, it goes into the food. So when you blend it, do you lose some? Yes. But is it affecting it somehow? It must be. And I'll tell you why. I told you why it must be. Because when I used carbonated water with CO2, it did the opposite effect. It oxidized it. It tasted rancid. So if it's doing that, the opposite must be true. Most likely in this case. And do I have to do that? No, I consume plenty of hydrogen, but I did it just for the heck of it. And you know what? They do taste so much better. So. Okay. Let's see here. Deborah says, yes, Hydrofix, super easy to use. Love it. I know, that's what's nice about it too. They made it. It's a brilliant machine. They should have called it, I don't know what they could have called it, but the Japanese call it the Hydrofix. Somebody said it fixed me, your Hydrofix. That was kind of funny. JM 24180 says, love the wooden cabinets and trim. He's noticing the kitchen. Thankful that white and gray kitchens are finally out. White and gray. It's not my kitchen. But Nietzsche says, you're talking about this so nonchalantly. Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to panic and talk like Alex Jones and we're all going to die? Or whatever. It's like, come on, dude. Look, I hate to say it. We all die already, right? I don't think that that's really the point. I think the point is there are certain times in history, and hopefully you want to be on the right side of things, or to be prepared for certain things, throughout our lives, and even be prepared spiritually just as much as physically. But I ain't gonna panic about these type of things. I've been preparing though for quite some time, so. All right, let's see here. Jay or Wink. I almost called him Winker. Jay or Wink. What company is that bottle of minerals from? Oh, I thought I'd just go to video to 87, and there's a link in the comment section. It takes you right to the name of the company, everything. It just takes you to everything. Oh yeah, there you go. Jay Wink says, oh, okay, video 87, thanks. Okay, G Grace says, yo, Grace, do you have a whole house filter in addition to your RO? Do you use your RO and then distill? Typically, I would take the RO water and then distill that, and then it's perfect. If you don't have access to that, the carbon distillers from mypurewater.com, they have a carbon filter at the end, so you distill and then it carbons and the water's perfect. That's what the lab report I have. And so, yeah, so that's the way that I do it. You got to do the combo if you want your water to be about as perfect it gets, and it needs to be perfect. If you're really wanting to, look, I'm all about the best, guys, and I'll tell you right now, in this day and age, for certain things, you have to go for the best. The world is so contaminated. You need the best water. You need the best nutrients. I mean, you got to do your best right now. At least that's my opinion. So, and also if you want to potentially overcome health issues and stuff. Nietzsche says, give us a sneak peek on the data for inhalation on new machines, would you? Well, I kind of already did. Basically, what we're seeing is high anti-aging. The free radicals that build up in the body. See, here's the thing. Almost everything is oxidizing you. Even the food that you eat is, for every meal you eat, you're aging. I don't know if you guys know this. All the contaminants in your water are aging you. The stuff they're spraying on you is probably aging you. The medicine that they might give you, whatever it might be, is most likely aging you. I don't know if you know this. Like, I could pull up any medication, like I don't know, high blood pressure medication. I mean, anything. I already know because I've already looked all this stuff up. Let's see. Does high blood pressure medicine cause free radicals, right? And it says, let's see. This is funny. I know when they pull up some, let me see here. Maybe free radicals not the word. Because I know that they cause damage. We all know about the side effects. These things aren't typically good for us, right? And look that up before. I mean, if it's that important to you guys, I could find it right now, but I don't want to really. I don't even have a ton of time. I got to go soon. But yeah, a lot of things are causing a lot of damage and oxidative stress and these free radicals. And that's why, if you notice, I eat a lot of antioxidant-rich foods, and you better get enough hydrogen. Like I'll, get enough of it every day, and the clean water to try to clear this stuff constantly, because it's constantly hitting us. I mean, it's constant. It's never ending. So Nietzsche says, oh yeah, okay. Deborah says, I hope I got the newest model. If you got the one that's all gray, that's the newest one. Christina Cole says, would you be able to keep the video up for a bit so I can go back and watch it? Sure. Chrissy says, is there a water purifier you recommend that does not use electricity? If you want your water the cleanest, you got to use electricity, which is a carbon distiller. That's the only one that I recommend for making the cleanest water, getting all the fluoride out, all the microplastics out, all the PFAS, all the radioactive contaminants, on and on it goes, okay? For emergencies, I have one of those like Berkey's or Alexa Pure type of stuff. I used to have a link for it, but it doesn't work anymore. And those are the emergency ones. They're not as good. When you're in survival mode, forget having the best of everything, okay? That's why you want to get ready now. Or you should have been getting ready, So, just saying. Hopefully that answers your question. G. Gray says, thank you. I was also wondering if you have a whole house water system. Just so you guys know, this is not my home. I don't have full filtration systems here or whatever. They do happen to have an RO system here, so that's great. I rent the room, by the way. And then I do have the carbon distiller here. But it's not a full house water filter. But there are a few filters throughout the house. Nietzsche says, any tip on how to go within to find an answer on what to do in these times? Greg, I want to make the right decision and follow what I'm here to do. I want to act from love and not fear. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't freak out. One thing that you can do, as crazy as this may sound, 4 hours before bed, stop eating. 1 hour before bed, try to be in the most peaceful place. Don't be watching the TV or the phone or computer or whatever. Get your question in your mind. Like really think about what your question is and just hyper focus on that. Don't think about anything else. Question, looking for the answers. And then say thank you and be grateful for the answers coming, and then go to sleep. And a lot of times, maybe you'll get a lot of clarity the next day or even at night while you're dreaming. Sounds like a crazy thing maybe, but I got a really, really special, I guess I'm not going to tell you right now, but it's kind of wild because I'll update you later. I'm looking to try something new. It's a new type of technology from, and you guessed it, Japan. But remember, I always put myself through things before I tell you guys, because I'm trying to be kind for all you guys. I'm the guinea pig. I'm the one who takes the risks. I'm the one who spends the money. And when I find good things, well, then I tell you about them. And if they're not good, then I just forget it. And I don't even bother wasting time on it. So I'm going to be potentially trying something new, and I'll keep you guys posted on that one too. Okay. Well, any last questions or comments? Thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. You know, appreciate all this. It's free, right? Appreciate all the support. G. Grace said, I found you yesterday on Light After Light. I stayed up until 5 a.m. watching your videos. What? Wow. I don't even know. Your messages are speaking to me. Thank you. Thank you for that kind comment. That's very nice. I'm so glad that if I'm able to help anybody, it makes me happy. Because I believe that we are all brothers and sisters in this world, right? I don't know. I care about people. So thank you for that, though. I appreciate that. That's why I do what I do. Nicho says, bless you, Brother Greg. I will give it a try. There you go, bud. All right. Ooh, and we got another thumbs up. And then Nicho says, not my, but thy will, oh Lord, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, somebody said, thank you, Greg. That was Linda. Thank you. Okay, guys. Well, I can either shut off the camera now, or I can give you guys another maybe minute while I'm drinking my heavily nutrient smoothie. You know, there's a reason that I put the minerals in there. In fact, let's see what it says. BPA free, certified, kosher, gluten free. I mean, I would only assume so. It's minerals. These, and look how tiny these letters are. You can barely read any of them. CGMP facility. I don't even know what that is. Probably free of peanuts. Third party, lab tested. Sugar free. Thank God. You know, I specifically look for things. In fact, here, I got something special for you guys. I mean, maybe it's just silly, but I feel like I hit the mother lode the other day. I bought some really interesting things, just kind of for fun. So, I mean, I'll just show you guys. I wasn't going to really show you. I almost took a video. I was like, man, I hit the mother lode. I was so excited. Yeah, I'll just show you a few of these. There's one in particular that was really special. I was just buying some snacks. Macadamia nuts with no salt. In fact, the ingredient is just macadamia nuts. Believe it or not, that's hard to find. This is just kind of a fun one. Dried figs. Look at the ingredients. Just figs that were dried. You know, just natural stuff. Now this one was interesting. Look at this one. Watermelon. Dried watermelon. And that was kind of a weird one. I'd never seen that before. It's so sweet. And the only ingredient, let's check again just to make sure. Dried watermelon. That's it. No other ingredients, no sugar added. I like stuff like that that's really natural. And this one, pistachios with no salt. You know how hard it is to find nuts that aren't salted? It's crazy. Anyway, I was all excited. I found pumpkin seeds. I found like all these different types of nuts and seeds, and there were just, I was like, oh my gosh, everything that I wanted. I bought a bunch of stuff. Jair Wink says, could you give the name of that dark mineral product you used where you put a little bit in your smoothie, a small jar of thick, dark liquid? Oh, I believe you're talking about a website called, and you can, somebody type it in, Pure Black, but it's P-U-R, and then the word black, so purr black, almost like purr, like a cat's purring, and .com, and then it's called Shilajit. And it is a mineral. I actually had some before I started the camera. I always have my hydrogen water, and I have the Shilajit minerals in it. They're natural from nature. And it even has fulvic acid in it and whatever, just naturally like that. And you can find that on that website. And if you want to use a discount code, it's Uprising144K. And That's it. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. And G Gray says, I had to find my own way. I am 62 on 0 meds. Good for you. I designed my whole hose, my whole water system, I assume you mean something. I don't know what you mean. Probably water filter. And have made smoothies for over 30 years. I have used, wow, hydrogen tabs, but I want to buy the machine. Oh, hydrogen tablets. I hate to tell you, in my opinion, they're the worst. You couldn't even pay me to use those things. That's the reason that I would never use those. And yep, pure black shilajit and house. Oops, and there you go. And then Chrissy says, so if we were in a situation and we're filtering rainwater with no electricity, what would you use, the Berkey? Yeah, I'd probably use the Berkey or the Alexa Pure. Yes, exactly. You could literally do rainwater if it's raining, right? Because summer's coming. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'll see you guys next time.